What's going on, guys? My name is Rumble Skrash. In today's video we're going to be talking about this championship and some possible strategies that you can do. I just mainly want to give you some tips and some preparation or of when to face certain teams, what defense teams to use, some tips of how to play on during championship and everything like that, and basically talking about what teams you can use against each particular variations of the meta teams. So talking about the meta, we're first gonna be doing that. So we're gonna take a look at top 100. So as you all guys know, Magellan released together with like a month ago a Kainu and a Kaido and everything. So the quick meta is here. As you can see, a lot of quick teams, but still there are some side teams, some dex teams, some in teams, some slasher teams, and some strength teams even. So Moria has just released, so int is quite powerful now too, but I mean it's not the most powerful team, but it's really strong, I do think, and in the future it's gonna be even stronger. So mainly I'm gonna be talking and focusing about Sai, Quick, and Dex, but I'm also going to be saying some stuff about the in team. So yeah, as you can see here, there's a lot of these teams that I mentioned, a lot of quick teams, but there's some people that are not using quick teams anymore because they know that everyone knows them and they are not going to be attacking. So there's some interesting teams here, but yeah, so mainly I'm going to be talking about how to counter these meta teams and everything, and then what defense teams to use. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is actually to talk about some defense teams. So for example, this one and together with this one and well, this changing Pika for Tesoro and then using just PP Whitebeard on the bench. This is the three defense teams that I showcased in my last defense team video. These were basically centered around countering and being able to beat some quick teams and everything. So if you want to check that out, go check it here on top. Those teams are really strong and perform really well. Before the release of Magellan, I actually showcased some defensive teams. Let me see if I can find them. So this one is the team that I was using before the release of Magellan, was performing really well, but we still hadn't had a championship. So I'm gonna be seeing this championship how it performs by testing it by a period of 24 hours and everything. But I did really like this team centered around Blackbeard, massively countering quick units, and I also built a defensive team of Dex 1 using Blackbeard and also a bench look like Ace, or maybe you could even use Kaido there instead of Ace. But yeah, those teams were performing really well also against quick. So if you want to go check that video out, then go check it here on top. In those videos I talked about how to basically, I was focusing on quick teams and everything. So yeah, in regards to how to defend, I would recommend to put a team that has a chance. I mean, it's not that it's guaranteed or anything because it's almost impossible, but or that even has the highest chance. You just put a team that has a chance of beating a quick team, because a lot of people are using quick teams. A lot of people know that the meta, quote unquote, is quick. So a lot of people are trying to build quick teams even with the units not leveled up, with missing some units and everything. And yeah, the more of this stuff that you are missing, then the weaker your team is, and maybe it actually loses to see these kind of defensive teams. And also there's a chance that a fully max quick team loses to teams like that. Well, mainly I would say teams like that, but yeah, so I do think that defending with those teams is really strong. Now I would recommend for you to check out those videos, and in those videos I was talking about which one of the defensive teams I thought it was the weakest, and I would recommend to use, for example, if you're lower ranked than 1000, so basically if you're top 3000, 5000 and everything, I would recommend to use like not really strong teams. You can actually use pretty weak teams that look to you really weak, but some people in really low ranks still are losing a lot against those ones, because also a lot of people are attacking them because they think it's just like guaranteed wins. So I would recommend in low ranks to use weak teams, but that you know that they have a chance. And then the higher you are, the better you want your defense team to be, but you want it to at the same time to be really you want it to be really baity, so basically that it looks weak but it's not. So for example, in my last defensive teams, I showcased this team, which if you put Tesoro here, so basically it's a 6-man team. It looks not like the meta, but it actually was performing really well even against very max quick teams. So yeah, I mean, I do think that teams like that, if you are in top 1000 and stuff like that, is a good defensive team to use, because it only has 6 units, and maybe even you could put it without PP Whitebeard and maybe put a weaker unit, or maybe even just put it with 5-man team. So these teams, I think they can perform well. And then if you are like really high, then like top 100, top 200, 300, or maybe top 500 or stuff like that, then I would suggest using, for example, defensive teams like this one. I don't know about this one, I'm gonna be testing it, but mainly I would put teams like this one. And then one thing that I want to mention is that if you are aiming for really high ranks, so top 100, but not only top 100, you are aiming on being like top 30, top 20, even though it doesn't give special rewards, you want to guarantee your top 100, top 10 even. So if you're going that high, I would recommend to put like the meta teams that are really difficult to beat, because you don't want the people that are 1 rank below you or 2 ranks below you to be able to just beat your team consistently, because they know the way and you're giving them free points, because you don't want those people to get free points because you are competing against that particular person. So if you are in a situation where going up 10 ranks matters, then maybe I would consider putting a really strong team. No, it doesn't have to be the meta, but teams that you know that are really strong and perform really well against most of the teams. So yeah, that is my strategy on defensive teams, because a lot of people are using quick. So you can also use defensive teams to bait side teams or to bait dex teams and stuff like that, but I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's gonna be performing that well, because a lot of people are, when they attack, they want to guarantee a win in championship, so they're gonna be using what they think is the strongest teams, and probably it's gonna be a quick team. So I do think that that is something that you could do. But yeah, so now I'm gonna be talking about in terms of attacking teams. So what attack teams you should be using. Now I'm gonna be talking about attacking quick teams in a moment, but first I want to talk about how to attack dex teams, how to attack side teams, and how to attack, well, strength teams and in teams. So first, if you want to attack a strength team, you can probably use quick. In theory it should win. Also you can try to use Psy, like the meta Psy. It should be winning also against strength and everything like that. But watch out on the particular variations of units that they are using, because maybe they're trying to counter you with some cheeky variation, and then just be careful with that. But in theory you should be able to beat strength. I would say mainly with Psy, because you have a lot of defense, and for example, if you're using B2 Kuzan, you're massively debuffing their defense even further. So I do think that a side team can work really well against strength. And now let's talk about dex. So when using dex, actually if you have a strength team, I would recommend to use a strength team, because strength destroys dex. You can use Legend Whitebeard with the massive health cut, and they have a lot of defense, but the health cut ignores that, so you're taking out a lot of their HP. And then you have units like Kaku, that is massively different, not only with the passive, the special city, and the defense of dex, but also the defense with the special and stuff like that. And you can do some pretty good stuff against dex. Also the meta side team, let's see if I have it here, the meta side team, and you can change the Germa for other units, works really well against dex, because it's based around fixed damage, and dex team have a lot of defense, but fixed damage ignores that. So also Psy is really good against dex. and you don't even have to worry if there's a Blackbeard or something, because like you're not using quick or strength units. So yeah, Sai is a very good variation, and yeah, I would suggest doing that. Now in terms of the going up against the in team, in theory with your quick team you should be able to beat the in team, but if you want to go for sure, I would use like units like German, that is debuffing the defense and everything. But I would use actually kind of a side team if they don't have units like Konis or maybe Katakuri or units like that, because with the fixed damage and everything, the continuous damage, you're gonna be dealing a lot, and Sai works well against int. Now I do think that it's better to go up against an in team with your quick team, but if you don't have a quick team and you have a side team, you can always go for that. And yeah. Now, if you want to counter this particular side team or like variations with Shirahoshi instead of Germa or stuff like that, then well, you can either use quick with Magellan and everything. In theory, it should be winning. But then you can actually kind of try to counter them with an in team if you have Moria. So I'm gonna be talking about that now. So against side teams, you can actually use an in team with the proper variation, because you can actually use Konis with speed down level 6, and then well, further debuffing the defense of your units, and then Katakuri with another speed down, special city down level 5, and defense down level 4, and together with then the massive debuff of Moria, and then the damage of um, Doflamingo, you should be able to be doing a lot of stuff. Now, I do not have the Halloween units, and I do think that the Halloween units are the main units to be using in those kind of teams. For example, in the bench, instead of using like the Soul Mask in the end, it's better to use like Halloween Shanks, for example, in the instead of PP Whitebeard. And then, well, then if you have a 7-man team, you can actually do like this, and then just put this unit out and put Howling Shanks instead of PvP Whitebeard. But I do think that teams like that are really strong. You can also use variations like these, for example. I mean, not these, but variations like this. But then you are missing on the defense down of category, like, and you can only have a 6 using NL. So I mean, I do not think I have the perfect counter for the side teams with int, but definitely units like this one and this one is basically the key to doing that. And then the massive damage from Dofi, if you can actually make use of the massive debuff of Moria together with Dofi, then that's probably it, because like, yeah, you they have like some multiplier damage, but the multiplier damage is not going to be doing anything to you because you have a lot of defense. But then the problem is the fixed damage, so that's the scary part. So I do think that you need more multiplier damage to make use of the massive debuff of Mori and everything, and Halloween Glow and Halloween Shanks are actually very good options for that, so I would recommend doing that. And finally, if we're talking about how to counter the quick teams, so teams like this with Magellan, so I do not have Magellan, but if you want to counter teams like this, then I already did a lot of videos talking about it. Like, if you have Magellan, then you can go a mirror match and then just go 50-50 odds. You can maybe try to build some variations with Magellan that it's countering other quick teams and everything, but I do not have Magellan and I haven't been able to test that. So what I'm going to be doing is to attack the teams, the quick teams that I have to attack, because you can always skip them and find easier teams with teams like this one, teams like not this one, but teams like this one, or the one with Pika instead of the Zoro that I showcased. If you wanna get more information on how these teams work, again, go check it here on top. They are really strong teams, and I do really recommend trying them. So teams like this are really strong and get a really high percentage of win rate, at least for all the matches that I have done myself. But yeah. And finally, I wanted to give you a little bit of an advice, which is when to use the refill of the matches. I don't think a lot of people has talked about it, but you want to use your matches at the first moment where they are refreshed. So every day you want to play at the first moment where they are refreshed, because that way, like, most of the people play when they are refreshed. Maybe they jam like 2 3 times, maybe more if they are going to go higher ranked, stuff like that, but then they leave it, and then they wait for the matches to refresh again and play again. So basically, before refresh, almost no one, I think, is playing. So basically, you can use that if you're the first one to do the matches when they are refreshed. You're guaranteeing at least that you're gonna be staying in a similar rank, and people are gonna be seeing you in that rank, and not in a lower one if you wait 10 minutes where when all the people will have played their matches and you will have gotten down in ranks, so less people are gonna be seeing you. So yeah, you want to keep your rank as high as possible when the matches are refreshed. So even jamming just right before they are refreshed is a good idea. So that is something that I would suggest. As you're seeing this video, the championship will have already started. As you can see, now I'm recording it and it hasn't started. But I would suggest for a future championship, and even if you wanna rank high on a particular block, I would suggest that the moment where a block or the championship mainly it's starting, the right exact moment at news o'clock, you have to play your matches as fast as possible, because it makes the difference. Like 2 minutes make the difference at the start of championship. Like maybe you start championship right at the very first moment where it starts, and you play 3 matches, you get a lot of points, you are really high rank, a lot of people are seeing you when they play their first matches, and then you just are able, just with jamming like a few times, to keep like a really high rank, like top 100 on the first day. And then if you keep like that, then you can keep a rank like that. Because if you wait like 3 hours, or maybe even wait 10 minutes, you will see that with the first 3 matches you have not climbed ranks that much. If you manage to be one of the first one to play, then you're gonna be seeing that you're rank 2, rank 3, and obviously some people are gonna be advancing you because they're gonna be jamming way more than you probably. But that is a way of getting really high rank very fast, and then a lot of people are seeing you, and you can get a lot of defensive wins depending on the defensive team that you're using. Maybe I would suggest not using the strongest team at the very first moments. You want people to see you and attack you. That's the important thing. So that is a recommendation in general for championship. For this particular championship, it has already started, but this effect, it happens a little bit every day with a refresh, so that's why I was talking about that. But finally, before I end this video, I want to talk about the particular buffs that we have this championship. So it's quick time attack up level 4 and driven HP up level 4. So yeah, this buff the quick team massively, but it also buffs our defense teams that I have loaded in my last defensive teams video, because all our units are driven and they're getting HP up level 4. And in some of the particular cases of the driven teams that I was using Steel Kaido and Akainu. So my quick units are gonna be getting more attack up, so that's gonna be really nice. So not only don't worry if the quick team is getting massively buffed, because you can also make use of this kind of championship buffs and everything. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you find it useful, the tips and advice that I said, what teams to use against each particular team, what defense team to use depending on the rank that you are and everything. So I hope you guys found that useful, and I hope that you liked it. Let me know in the comment section down below what are your plans for this championship. Are you aiming to rank high, or you just want to go top 1000, or maybe you just don't care, or maybe you're in exhibition. So let me know in the comment section down below what are your plans and everything. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.